the rulers of the people. And he said to them, to these guys, and he said to them, you brought this man before me as one who corrupts and incites the people to rebellion. And after examining him before you, I found no guilt in this man regarding the charges which you make. Therefore, I will punish him to teach him a lesson and release him. Now he was obligated to release to them one prisoner at the feast. But they loudly shouted all together, saying, away with this man, and release Barabbas to us. He was the one who had been thrown into prison for an insurrection that happened in the city and for murder. Pilate, addressing them again, wanted to release Jesus, but they kept shouting, crucify him, crucify him. A third time he said to them, why, what wrong has he done? I have found no guilt in him, demanding death. Therefore I will punish him, to teach him a lesson, and release him. But they were insistent and unrelenting, demanding with loud voices that Jesus be crucified, and their voices began to prevail and accomplish their purpose. Pilate pronounced sentence that their demand be granted, and he released to them Barabbas, the man who they had been asking for, who was thrown into prison for insurrection and for murder, but he handed over Jesus to their will. There's Barabbas. Sword dude. And they gave Jesus over to them. Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus to the praetorium, and they gathered the whole Roman court around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and after twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and put a reed in his right hand as a scepter. Kneeling before him, they ridiculed him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! They spat on him and took the reed and struck him repeatedly on the head. They led him away. They seized a man, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming to the city from the country, and they placed on him the cross to carry behind Jesus. Following behind him was the large crowd. And they're going to the place they called Skull. Are they getting there? Okay, we'll get them up there.
Put them in.
Since it was the day of preparation, in order to prevent the bodies from hanging on the cross on the Sabbath, the Jews asked Pilate to have their legs broken to hasten death, and the bodies taken away. So the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first man and of the other who had been crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers pierced his sides with a spear, and immediately blood and water came flowing out. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, asked Pilate to let him take away his body. And Nicodemus, who had first come to him at night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes. So that they took Jesus' body and bound it in linen wrappings, and with fragrant spices they placed him in a tomb. Now there was a garden at a place where he was crucified, and in the garden a new tomb cut out of solid rock, in which no one had yet been laid. Therefore, because of the Jewish day of preparation, and since the tomb was nearby, they laid him there. And then they sealed the tomb with a big rock.
It's sealed enough. No, it's not. There. No, it's good. It's in. Done.
But on the first day of the week at early dawn, the women went to the tomb, bringing spices to finish anointing the body, and they found the large stone rolled back. Oops, my hand moved. While they were perplexed and wondering about this, suddenly 2 men in dazzling white clothing stood near them. And as the women were terrified, the men said to them, "Why are you looking for the living one among the dead? He is not here, but has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee, saying that the Son of Man must be handed over to sinful men and be crucified, and on the third day raised from death to life?" And they remembered his words. And after returning from the tomb, they reported all these things to the 11 apostles and to all the rest. So when it was evening on that same day, the first day of the week, though the disciples were meeting behind barred doors for the fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood among them. And he said, "Peace to you." After he said this, he showed them his hands and his side. When the disciples saw the Lord, they were filled with joy. Then Jesus said to them again, "Peace to you. As the Father has sent me, I also send you as my representatives." And when he had said this, he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit. Now go, heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out demons, and baptize people in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit." And Jesus appeared to them and many others for a period of 40 days.